Hello and welcome back. This is Sunita. I'm a medical laboratory technologist and I work in the province of Saskatchewan. I am CSMLS certified and SSMLT registered. We've been talking about the MLT job in Canada and how to get certified, but I have been getting a lot of questions lately about the salary of the MLT, and that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how the prospects of getting a job here as an MLT, what's the job like, what's the schedule, and all these little details that you guys want to know. Okay, so let's get right into it. So most of the time here, when people are looking into how the MLT job is, they usually want to know about how how much they're going to get paid, right? And that's the main thing. So the MLT job is a 60K job, meaning that they will be a $60,000 per year job. That's a really good way to start in Canada. It's a really great job to have. But a lot of times, what I find that we forget to consider is that there are lots of deductions that are going to be taken out of that. So, of course, everyone knows that there'll be federal and provincial taxes, but there is also your pension that will be taken out of that. There'll be the insurance, there'll be the union and license renewal fees that will be taken out of that. And what you finally end up with is around 75% of your gross pay, which will end up to around 40 to 45,000. So it's still a great way, but I just wanted to mention that there is these deductions that you have to take into consideration. So maybe if you're already working as an MLT back home and you want to make a decision whether it is worth it to come here. So this is usually what you'll be getting as an MLT. So another thing that you want to look at is your rate of pay. And the rate of pay varies between provinces. So you'll find that some provinces will pay less and some provinces will pay more. Provinces like British Columbia starts to pay around $36 per hour. Saskatchewan here pays around $35 per hour. Provinces like Alberta pay around $31 per hour. And provinces like Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, they pay less. They pay around $28. That's what they start with. And usually, I know that people do a lot of research before they choose the province which they're going into. They don't just look at the pay rate per hour. A lot of times you'll find people choosing the province according to like they like a certain particular province. They have maybe family and friends. They look at the taxes. Taxes is a big portion of your pay that will be taken out. So it is important, of course, to look at which province has the better taxes, right? You'll want to look at the health system. Is some provinces have better health system where some things are free, whereas some other provinces you have to pay for that. You have to look at the weather. You have to look at the cost of living. These are all the things that everyone looks at before they choose a province. But what we're talking about more today is more about the MLT job. We know that we will be getting different rates in different provinces. We know that we might have some family there. That's where we might want to go. But if we are free to choose any province, how easy is it to get a job in the provinces? I would say that if you are certified, you can pretty much get a job as an MLT anywhere. Why? It's because the MLT is a very in-demand job. It's a hard to recruit job even in some provinces or in some towns. What I mean by that is I'll take the example of Saskatchewan. I always take the example of Saskatchewan because that's where I'm from. But most of the time, the information that I'm giving you can be applied to other provinces because I was looking into moving to New Brunswick before I moved here, and most of the information that I found for New Brunswick was also similar to what I'm living here. Uh, I found that you could, a lot of times there's more positions available in rural areas or small towns. Why is that? Is that most people want to live in the city. Most people want to be in big towns, right? So that's why a lot of times you'll find that they will be giving you, employers will be giving you incentives such as higher pay or extra money or even free housing to go work in those small towns. But before you accept a position as MLT in a small town or because of those incentives, I want you to look at the lifestyle in that place. Is it something that will match to you? You would want to look at the scope of work of an MLT in a small town as compared to a city, which can be very different. I'll give you an example. For example, phlebotomy. Uh, some places require that the MLT do phlebotomy. They have to draw blood, whereas some places don't. Uh, I live in Saskatoon. I work in the one of the main hospitals, and I don't have to do phlebotomy. I don't have to draw blood. Um, but some small towns in Saskatchewan itself, some MLTs do have to draw blood. So these are the things you want to look at. What's your scope of work in a small town as compared to living in a city? Uh, these are the questions you want to ask to your employer before you accept a position. You want to ask yourself, where is it located? You would look at the hospital and you'll find that information. Look at the community, try to find, type it on Google and see how far is it from a main city? What are the amenities nearby? This is very important because weather is one of the main things in Canada. You will find that some provinces have better weather. Provinces like British Columbia, where Vancouver has beautiful weather. It has the sea nearby. That's why most people, a lot of people are drawn to it, right? Whereas provinces like Saskatchewan, it's right in the middle. There's no sea around it. Um, it's flat, it's just a prairie region, it's mostly lakes. So if that's not too much of the things you like, these are the things you would look into. Provinces like New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, they have a sea, they have a beach, they have mountains, but they pay less. They pay around $28, whereas here they pay 35. So that's like $7 difference. So these are the things you would consider. You would want to look also at the cost of living, which everyone looks into. But cost of living can be like double. Sometimes you will find that the same apartment you're renting here in Saskatchewan, and you go to BC and you're paying double of that, even though you might be getting $1 or $2 more. So these are the things you consider. So the questions that I've been having about what's the salary like for an MLT, that's how I answer it. I want to answer it together with all the things you want to consider before you just consider the pay per hour. Consider all these things. What are the incentives that they are giving you? If you're okay with living in a small town, that's okay. Maybe they'll give you incentive, extra money to go to that small town. You also want to look at weather, like I said, because some provinces have very harsh weather. Here in Saskatchewan, we get temperatures of around minus 40s and minus 50s in winter, and sometimes long winter. And weather conditions, road conditions for driving 2-3 hours to small towns in those conditions can be very harsh. So you want to look into that before you accept your position as an MLT. your cost of living, your housing. So now that we understand all that, I wanted to give you a little bit more information today about how you will understand your job posting. So when you look at, when you're out of Canada, you try to find information about the MLT job. What you do is you type the MLT job, you try to find what's the pay of an MLT, you find a job posting and you look at it. And most of the time, you don't really understand what it means. So let's look into that today. Here's a job posting of one of the MLT jobs in Canada, and this is for an MLT1. And before I got into the system, I didn't really understand what it means to be an MLT1 or MLT2. But an MLT1 is mostly an entry level MLT. That's usually where most people would start. And an MLT2 is mostly a supervisory, overlooking quality, procedural procedures in the SOPs in the lab. So most people would start with MLT1 when they are starting, and that's for this position here. You would want to look at the community where you'll be working, and here it's Saskatoon. So if you want to know where is Saskatoon, because you're out of Canada, you're not sure where that is, look, type it and see if that's one of the main cities. Is it a main city? Is it a small town? How far is it from a main city? And what are the amenities there? Do I get everything there, or do I have to drive in the main city to get that? That's the kind of information you'll want to find out. What's the facility name? Royal University Hospital is the hospital here. You want to look, is that a main hospital? Is that a small hospital? Is that where I want to work? And am I expected to, what's my scope of work? Am I expected to draw blood, to do extra other little duties that might not be expected from an MLT, which is working in a different city hospital, right? Other things that you will find on your job posting is your rate of pay, of course. So your rate of pay here starts around $35.21. And you would want to look at the employment term here, which is full-time position, and the employment type, which is a temporary position. A lot of times, new MLTs start by a temporary position. Why is that? It's because most of the time, there's a seniority list, a seniority that is in place in the system. So people that are already in the system, they gain seniority. And whenever positions, permanent positions are coming out, they are, of course, have a preference for that. And then temporary position comes out, and most new persons start through a temporary position, unless you're lucky, of course, and you just get a permanent position right away, which is great. And also, full-time position doesn't necessarily mean that it's a 40 hours per week position. You will want to look at your shift hours. How long are your shifts? This one here is an 8-hour shift. So they work 8-hour shifts, and they guarantee you that you will be getting 14 shifts of 8 hours in a 3-week rotation. So that's how you will know how much you'll be getting. You'll be working 14 shifts of 8 hours in a 3-week rotation. So if you want to know how much you'll be getting, you'll do 14 times 8 times your pay rate, which is $35.21, and that's how much money you'll make in a 3-week rotation. And that's the kind of information you'll find on your job posting. You'll also find your union name, which is SEIU. Here in Canada, the MLT job is mostly unionized, which means that the union will be your voice with your employer. They'll be the one that will be fighting for you to get better work treatment, better increase in pay, and if you have any disputes with your employer, you would raise those concerns with your union, and they will be fighting for you. That's what it's for. And all of these things, the union, you pay for that, and these are deducted out of your pay. Another thing that you will want to look to will ask your employer would be the package benefits. What are the benefits that comes with your job? A lot of times we want to compare between employers. Most of the time, when you are back home, your system, the health system that you have, might be totally different from the one here. So, for example, for me, back home, we had a free healthcare system. Everything was free. The doctor was free. The dental was free. Drugs was free. But here, you have to pay for those things. And if you have insurance that you're covered for that, then you get, your insurance will cover those health benefits. And a lot of times your employer will make a package that will have your insurance, will have your pension, and you want to look at those things before you accept a position. What kind of benefits are you getting? Is the insurance covering your dental? Is the insurance covering your eyes, the drugs? And how much are they covering? Are they covering 80% or fully covered? So these are the things you want to look into, although you're super excited that you got a job. You will pretty much get a job almost in any province, but choose the right package for you, the right lifestyle, where exactly you want to live, how you want your life to be. Do you like that kind of weather? These are all the things that you want to look into. All this information mostly you can find it whenever you're looking into job postings on Indeed, job boards, or any provincial links that you are having. You will have all this information, and this is how you interpret it. So this is what it was about today. I wanted to just have a little chat about the job itself. What are the prospects? How is the job like? How are you getting paid? What's the shift like? For example, for me, I work in the chemistry department, and I work shift work. I work night shifts that start at from 11:30 p.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning. My day shifts start around 7:30 to 4 p.m. and the evening shifts start at 3:30 p.m. to 11:30 at night. So MLTs are expected to usually work shift work. Sometimes they are even on call. But if that's if you work in some hospital settings. But sometimes some people work in private settings, in private clinics where they might be having only day shifts. So that will depend on also on the where you find your job. So these are the things I wanted to chat about today. Talk a little bit about the job. Talk about your pay. Talk about what are your prospects, and see so you get a better idea and take a better decision of whether you really want to come here or not. So I hope today was helpful. I'll see you next time for our next steps towards our certification. Thank you. Bye-bye.